Hi everybody, welcome to today's Tuesday tip. And last week we introduced the new topic of crisis communication. So we talked about the importance of planning before you get to your crisis. And today I just thought I'd give you 5 good tips on how to communicate well through a crisis. So the first tip is to, you've heard me say this before, tell on yourself first. So when a crisis happens, you need to be the first to get a public statement out. Because if you don't do it, somebody else will do it, and then you're always on the back foot. So you need to be real quick with going out publicly with what's happened in terms of your crisis. The second tip is don't blame shift. If you are responsible for something, you need to take the blame. Because in a crisis, you can think of things you maybe have seen on TV before. If you kind of don't take ownership, it just doesn't look good. So you just need to do that owner straight up. Third tip is to remember to have compassion. If this crisis involves someone getting hurt, God forbid a loss of life or something like that, you need to have compassion in that situation and show that compassion in a public way, because you want to have a compassionate face. The fourth tip is to have one spokesperson in a crisis. You add a lot of communications risk if you have a lot of different people talking in a crisis, because the chances of getting a different message out there is too great. So you need to have one spokesperson, make sure they're really well trained, and have all the key messages. And I guess your role as a comms person, if you're a comms person in a crisis, is definitely taking media calls and fielding questions and writing stuff and that kind of thing. But you need to have a senior person, general manager, CEO, that's the front person for your crisis. And I guess the final tip for today would be, in a crisis, if your crisis lasts for a long time, you need to give regular updates, regular public updates. So, because if you aren't the one giving updates, the media will make up something. So even if you sit back and think, we don't even have any updates, it's just saying something, putting something out there so that you keep control of that message. So those are our 5 tips for today, and we'll see you next week.